Women's basketball team back in action on Wednesday. They'll take on Defiance here at the Athletics and Wellness Center. Back on Saturday in a doubleheader. The men and the women will take on Mount St. Joe. And Coach, we were just chatting before we started the interview about another close one. We'll get to the Transylvania game coming up in a couple of moments. You go to Hanover, and you lose that one by 2, and we were trying to figure out the numbers again. We might just do this the rest of the year. I'm hoping you're going to be on the other side of that ledger where you have a 2 or 3 point ball game. I think you're 8 or 9 right now. But before we get to that, go back to Transylvania. You got off to a good start in that one, and then the second and third quarters just didn't go your way.
Yeah, we didn't get the stops that we needed to get. Some of them, when I rewatched the film, like they hit transition threes, and as a coach, I wouldn't really even allow my team to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you have a trail center that's hitting it, it's kind of
Wow.
challenging.
Yeah.
And they hit some threes. But we didn't rebound real well that game, if I recall. The rebound stats were not good.
Yeah, 42-28, by the way.
Yeah, I'm going to say that was where it came down to, was the rebounding. And we didn't shoot great besides Mariah. Mariah shot well, and then everybody else was not shooting well that night. And we didn't get to the free throw line, I think, only 6 times.
Wow.
And we're one of the top free throw shooting teams in the nation right now, and we didn't get there either. Some no calls, some because we just weren't strong with the ball either.
Yeah.
So those things alone, I think, kind of I think we lost by 18 or something.
Yeah,
but
it was 85-66.
It definitely felt a little bit closer than that. We were up in the first quarter, down 10 at the halftime, and it felt like a fairly back and forth. They hit a couple threes, and that pushed them ahead. And then they busted open the third quarter, which, like I've told you a few times, we've had one quarter that lets us down, and that's still consistently been the case for us every game.
Before we talk about Hanover, from a mental standpoint, and it can be a grind. College basketball is not easy, and it's not easy on coaches. It's not easy on players. How mentally are they holding up at this point in the season?
They're very frustrated because they are so close. I think
Yeah.
sometimes you're more frustrated because you're that close and you don't pull out on top. And I keep trying to be as hopeful as possible. Like, we are that close.
Yeah.
I have thought that our talent is down this year, if I'm being perfectly honest, and our margin of error is very small.
Right.
And the fact we are in every game and competing with every team, and a lot of teams have more talent than us, and we're staying with them, gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah.
If we can just actually put a complete game together, then we will win it. And
Yeah.
we have not yet. Honestly, have not yet put a complete game together this entire year. Even in our 2 victories was not a complete game.
Yeah.
Just we had maybe a little bit more than the other team. So if we do that, then maybe that momentum will get going. I'm still waiting for that. I hope it gets going because I don't want to wait any longer for it to get going. We don't have that much time. But when that happens, I think the light bulb might click and we might get there. I do worry about it being kind of an EARLHAM basketball thing, that they've not had enough winning. They did get that close and just don't have that extra to get through it. Coach Miller and I have tried to really bring a little bit of Mountain Union a little bit to them. Like, this is where you really take it to them, to down, step on the throat, take it to them, and it's not natural for them.
Yeah.
You, as coaches, you can have it, but you're not playing.
Yeah.
And so we're, as coaching staff, still trying to figure out how do we get that last little turn in them to push through at the very end.
And you do have, I think, around 12 games to get this done, so it's got to happen pretty quick, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's still a lot of hope because there is still 12 games,
Yeah.
and we're just halfway through,
Yeah.
and there's still a lot of possibilities out there. The conference is very, a lot of parity. We're still like only 2 games out of being in like 3rd place because everybody else is losing and winning at the same time. So if we can get it turned around, that'd be good. And the fact that we, again, hung with a decent Transy team. I know again the final score didn't reflect it, and then Hanover is always a respectable team each year, and really should have beat them, and could have beat Franklin there in December, and they're 2nd right now. So we're right there with all of them. We just have to honestly pull it through.
And sometimes it just takes one.
Yep,
and
it just takes
hopefully
one.
that's the case. All right, go to Hanover. Lost that one by 2. Kaysen has 29 in that ball game. You shot well. You shot well from 3. Just didn't happen.
We didn't get these stops. We sent them to the free throw line 40 times. Didn't move our feet on defense. It honestly came down to just defensive stops. Didn't happen. And we only got to free throw line 11, and that's the difference in the ball game right there.
You sent them to the line 40 times?
Yeah, and thankfully they only hit 21. They were off that day, and they were one of the better shooting free throw teams in the conference and in the nation, actually, and had an off day shooting. And just didn't buckle down. Didn't stop the ball when we needed it, and I'm changing the defenses up a lot to try to overcompensate a lack of foot speed, and ultimately it comes down on that individual doing their job, and it didn't get done, especially in the third quarter. I thought I was happy going to halftime with 29 points. The team is averaging about 80. We're keeping them under average, and then we give up 32 in one quarter.
Yeah.
And there's the ball game.
Man, how long did that game take? 40 free throws? That's a long game right there.
Yeah, I didn't time it.
Yeah, Defiance on Wednesday. You're back home for 2 in a row now. Talk a little bit about this matchup and then Mount St. Joe coming up on Saturday.
I think I'm happy to be home. 3 away games. I didn't think about it until you're on the road. A little more challenging for us, just to travel, and then I'm not gonna blame officials for calls, but it's just like 40-11. It's like, geez, was it really that bad?
Oh, go ahead. I would.
And we only had 6 against Manchester, and I think they got there about 30 times. And it's just like, dang, what do we gotta do to get a call? So hopefully that helps a little bit, just in a home environment. I think sometimes Christmas break is a blessing and a curse. Sometimes I think it's because you have a hard time getting a routine of things. And now that they started classes today, maybe that routine is kind of back. And I know a couple of them said yesterday they're kind of happy to be back in that and give a little more normalcy moving forward and stuff. So I'm happy about that. Defiance Night is also a team that's kind of been struggling. She definitely played a tough schedule in the beginning, scheduling like Hope and Mount Union and some of the tougher teams in the nation that really push her kids. But they're a team that if you get them down, they will have trouble getting back. And that's one thing I'm proud of our team. We can be down and we will still keep fighting. So we need to jump out on them early, not give them any confidence, not let them, they either hit threes or they pound it into TG. That's their thing. So we're going to try to shut down TG as much as possible and hope that they're off on a 3 game. But if they start to hit threes, then I got to make an adjustment quick in that situation. Mount St. Joe's, I've not watched really any film specifically on them, watched them, teams against them. Much better team than last year. They do have a freshman inside that's doing very well, Sierra Phillips, pressuring the ball. He's mixing up a lot of different defenses as well. I think they're one of the better teams in terms of steals and getting their hands on a lot of stuff. So neither game is going to be easy for us, but I think they're games that if we do put together 4 quarters, we can get the win.
And certainly a good time to do it. 6'3", by the way, is TG. She's 6'3"?
Yeah,
That's
she's
not
up
bad.
there.
Yeah.
Kind of bigger,
Yeah,
too.
big. But the thing is, if it's a matchup problem for you, it's a matchup problem for them too, because they got to get them down the floor.
Yeah,
with
you got to get them down the court, and our posts know that. If we go smaller, then good luck, guarding a little further outside. And I trust if we put Shania on my end, they are faster in getting down the court as well. And she's averaging like 29.8 minutes a game right now, and I would not hope that she could sustain that when we play today.
I agree. By the way, good luck in these 2 games, 2 critical games to get yourself rolling, and let's get the win on the close side.
Give
Okay,
you something good to talk about.
There you go. Maybe a blowout somewhere. And I think you deserve one of those
that'd
too.
That'd be awesome too.
Yeah, that'd be great. Again, I want to remind you both games right here on Radio Troy Digital Sports. The Wednesday night matchup at 7:30. Then on Saturday, it'll be 1 o'clock tip-off time right here again on Radio Troy Digital Sports.